Here's my analysis of the Baylor at Kansas State women's basketball game. They were down by two in the first quarter, 20-18, but Baylor scored 15 points in the second quarter, while Kansas State scored 22. In the third and fourth quarters, Kansas State scored 25 points and 20 points. Baylor only scored 19 and 16, respectively. Yeah, the defense was just not there when you look at the numbers here. Kansas State shot 60.4% from the field, 29 for 48 overall, 9 for 20 on threes. Remember, last time they played Baylor, they were attempting a lot of threes and were missing. They were just making them. And we couldn't stop them in this game for what we want. 20 for 23 on free throws, 87%, 31 rebounds, 5 of those offensive, 17 assists, 12 steals, 3 blocks, 19 turnovers, which is a bunch, 15 fouls, and 13 points off the bench. Baylor had, that's 23 points off the bench. Baylor just couldn't take advantage of those Kansas State turnovers, and the defense didn't help. And overall shooting was good. 43.5%, 27 for 62 overall, 8 for 28 on threes, which I know that's 28.6%. I know that's not a great number. I know we could hit more. 6 for 11 on free throws, 54.5%. Yeah, I know that's not a good number either. 26 rebounds, 12 of those offensive, 13 assists, 11 steals though. That's a good number. 0 blocks, but you committed 20 turnovers. That's way too much. And Kansas State got some transition points off of that and 19 fouls. I will say this, officiating was questionable on both sides, but it seemed like some stuff Kansas State got away with on one end, Baylor didn't. I'll just call it the way it is. But either way, there was questionable officiating. Jamie Asbury led the way with 21 points, but on 8 for 22 shooting, 5 for 13 on threes, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 steals though. I like that number. And 1 foul. Jaren Owens had 7 points on 3 for 4 shooting, 1 for 1 on threes, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 2 fouls. Sarah Andrews, she's just dealing with a shoulder issue since that Iowa State game, because remember, she got knocked down hard. She had 8 points on 8, 4 for 11 shooting, 0 for 6 on threes, 1 rebound, 5 assists, 5 turnovers though, which is way too much, 2 fouls. Bella Fournier was just not great in this game. 5 points on 2 for 7 shooting, 1 for 3 on threes, 2 rebounds, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls. Kaylin Bickle had a bad game, and she fouled out, which didn't help out at all. 4 points on 0 for 4 shooting, 0 for 1 on threes, 4 rebounds, 3 of those offensive, 1 assist, 2 steals, 3 turnovers, 5 fouls. The thing is, Caitlin Bickle makes the team better when she's not in foul trouble. I know, and her plus minus this year is like 30, plus 30 with her on offense and defense. That's just insane, but it's the truth. Kyle Abraham even played, and with 2 points in 13 minutes, 1 for 2 shooting, 0 for 2 on free throws, 1 rebound, 2 turnovers, 1 foul. Karen Ferrer had 2 points in 7 minutes on 1 for 1 shooting, 1 rebound, 1 foul. Darion Littlepage Bucks had 16 points on 5 for 7 shooting, 6 for 9 on free throws, 8 rebounds, 5 of those offensive, 3 turnovers, 3 fouls. Jim Van Geinbeek had 3 points on 1 for 4 shooting, which all were threes, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 2 steals, 1 turnover, 1 foul. I know this is not a good loss here. I know it's not. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But we were dealing with foul trouble all game long, and Kansas State made adjustments. They didn't play that zone defense for the majority of the game. They played man-to-man, switching, in which we have not faced at all 5 positions since the Maryland game, which was way earlier in the year. And I'm also going to state the following. Somebody asked why this team is struggling recently. And I said I will DM you that because it's a lengthy response. we're a young team. We have a lot. We are a young team with a lot of new faces, not just freshmen but transfers. Injuries have hurt the team all year long, and I'm going to say this about Erica Porter. She's dealing with concussion protocol. She would be ahead of Kyla. I know she would. Of course, no Dre Edwards has hurt the team's upside as well. I mean, and turnovers has been an issue as of late. Same thing goes for foul trouble, especially this game. And it's not including no Kendra Gillespie since the early part of the conference play. After the second, third conference game, either against Oklahoma or Kansas, due to personal issues. And the last thing I'm going to mention that I mentioned to that person, some of it is accountability on watching film. It's based on the last press conference prior to this game. So, and the person responded back saying, I want, and Sarah, and I did mention the Sarah Andrews shoulder thing too. And the guy said, thanks, and I enjoyed the media session. I don't, first of all, he said, thanks a lot, Scotty. I learned more from this than anywhere else. He watched the press conference and he enjoyed the media session. I don't, why they don't, I don't see him when they first come out. And I did say, maybe it's sometimes it doesn't catch everything if you hit the notification bell. And he did wonder about why Sarah Andrews has always been a warrior, but she seemed off. And it makes sense. Yeah. So that's what I said, and he responded back. And Baylor fans, if you really want to fire Nikki Collin after she won the Big 12 last year with the depleted roster, you could apply that to all the other sports, especially that haven't brought a trophy in years. But you don't want. Somebody else said this, but I agree with them. But we already know it's not about that. It's about refusing Kim quit on you. Let's just face it. She did. I mean, and the thing is, part of it, the roster is still under the previous coach and hers. I mean, that's another deal. And not only that, we had a depleted roster last year. It's only really one player that left with the previous coach, but that then later on she left in LSU, Hannah Gusters, and she went elsewhere. She's at Oklahoma State, but she's not playing this year. She's not. She's there, just can't play. And remember, Trinity Oliver is gone. She went to Washington. And you gotta remember, we did lose Dejanay Carrington to the WNBA draft, just like Dee Dee Richards. In addition, Moon Arson transferred to Tulane anyway. So, and we've had a bad hand all year long. I mean, injuries, like I said. No Dre Edwards. Especially and no Kendra Gillespie, which Kendra Gillespie would be ahead of Erica Porter potentially, but for sure ahead of Kyle Abraham at this point. I already know they're bringing in a 6'7" post player that's a senior. I mean, as a high school senior, and Leticia Vasconcelos or something like that. That's going to help with some height. We like the height too. I mean, we don't have as much room for error as compared to the past. Even last year's team had those issues too. But yeah, we had a little more height. But the problem is, our guards are small. And there's only going to be for sure two players on this roster that are going to be for sure out of here. And that's Jamie Asbury and Caitlin Bickle. Jane Owens could come back. Dre Edwards is already committed to play next year anyway. It's just Asia that I'm curious about. And to me, I don't think she's going to go to the WNBA. I really, really don't. Why would teams would take a chance on her after she's not been playing a lot of minutes this year? I mean, when you look at the number of minutes she's played, and I'm going to go over the schedules for both teams going forward, I know. So, I just want to mention this. Asia's only played Blackwell has only played 11.9 minutes per game, and you gotta remember she's only played 8 games, and uh, she's played in less than 100 minutes this year, I believe. She was expected to contribute at a high level, even without Dre Edwards. She was supposed to be the best player on this team, and your best player. She had a lower leg injury or a knee thing. It don't matter. I mean, she's not. I would honestly say at this point, let's just do what we did to everyday John as in a Jonathan Chachua on the men's side. Don't try to expect her to come back next year. I mean, like, is she going? If she does come back to Baylor, don't expect her to play right away. We need her healthy if she does even come back. Which, who knows with the WNBA draft? I know they could take a chance on her based on the Missouri stats, but would they really want to waste a pick over an injury? That is a good question. And I don't have the answer for that right now. I've seen draft boards that are recently like late first round to second round. I mean, and it's so limited spots anyway in the WNBA too that they don't want to draft and stash necessarily unless they really, really have to. Now, Kansas State going forward has the following games. TCU on the road. You should not lose that game. Kansas at home. West Virginia on the road. At Oklahoma. And you get to host Texas. Now, Baylor's schedule the rest of the way. And I see for sure 3 wins on here. I would think. Though, then again, I know we did lose to Kansas State. I know. You got Iowa State at home. You already beat them, but it's tough to beat them twice. And the way we're playing, we got to have to play them better down the stretch. At TCU, you better not lose to a winless TCU. You shouldn't. You get to host Texas Tech at home. Hopefully you win that game. At Texas, you got to keep in mind too, we did have defeated some top 25 teams on the road unexpectedly. So, and then you got West Virginia at home. And the current standings goes as follows right now. Texas 11-3, Oklahoma 11-3, Iowa State 8-5, Oklahoma State 8-5, West Virginia 7-6, Baylor 7-6. Kansas 6-7, Texas Tech 4-9, Kansas State 4-9, TCU 0-13. The goal for me, I'd say, if we could somehow, we need to beat West Virginia no matter what, just to get closer, and we don't want to necessarily have to face Iowa State 3 times in 1 year. You really, really don't want to. Let's just try to finish as high as possible, win 3 more games, get to 10 conference wins, If we could beat Texas and Iowa State, that's a bonus. But we just need a pick me up right now. And not only that, once the season's done, as in like after the postseason, which I would think Baylor's still in the NCAA tournament right now. I just don't know what seed. We just need to reevaluate this roster and get taller. And I already know they need a center with height and two guards like Asbury, except taller. And there's potential to get another freshman, hopefully. But we just need to know. We're gonna know something on Jaden Owens, I would think, before the WNBA draft. Same thing goes for Asia Blackwell. I don't think Jaden Owens would be drafted. I don't. I mean, in the first round. So I think, in the way this year's gone, I think she should come back. It's a matter of Asia Blackwell at this point. And we don't know about the transfer portal in terms of if players are going to leave. And I don't have any names to flirt with just to say they should come to Baylor. We don't know the transfer portal names or who has entered because it's still going. The season's going on anyway. I mean, it's the truth. Anyways, if you like this content, hit like and subscribe button. See you guys later. It's 5 subscribers. We're on the road to it. Let's go. And it takes time to build your own roster and get your own players into. I'm not going to judge Nikki Collin until year 5. You got to keep in mind that first recruiting class too. The only signee we had at the time, she got our letter of intent, and we had to get Kendra Gillespie late too. I mean, that's the thing. You got to be patient. I mean, it's not easy to replace a longtime coach. Anyway, I mean, it's the truth.